Peace, sisters, we're back. This is the conclusion. Well, not the conclusion. Let's say the continuation. This is part 2. Okay. Of the archetypes. Okay. The 12 archetypes. On the introduction video that I just did, which is part 1. I want to make a correction on that one. I made an error and said the 7 archetypes. I meant to say 12 archetypes, not 7. 7 is something else that we'll get into at a later time. But we will be discussing the 12 archetypes, right, of the divine feminine. Okay. Of women. The 7 archetypes of a woman's nature. Okay. We did part 1, which was like an introduction where I just broke it down on what's taking place right now around us. Okay. I was speaking to my initiated women. Okay. And I was acknowledging what's taking place on the planet right now as far as women that are receiving these codes or receiving light codes, right? Women who are going through transformations right now. And as much as my life journey and my assignment has been directed to the original template, to the original womb of this planet, which is none other than the original indigenous woman of Tiamat, of Gaia, of planet Earth, the black woman. Okay. And that's because or the so-called black woman is what I represent. The original. But I would be lying if I sat up here and tell you that this intel, these transmissions, right, from the Great Mother are for so-called black women only. Because that's not the case. We are the mother. Black women are the mother, always have been the mother, but we do have children. We do. We do have pieces of us. No offense when I say pieces. We do have parts of us that we have to take accountability and responsibility for. And we do. So I'm not just talking about the so-called black woman. I cannot do that. I cannot, because that is not how the Great Mother operates. Okay. When I was in my solitude receiving these transmissions, that was one of the things that hit me. Right. It just hit me like, I don't know, but like, because, I started out on my journey back in 1998 as what you would call a 5%er of the nation of gods and earths. I don't want to get too much off of this because we need to get into these archetypes, right? And if you all know, with the nation of gods and earths, okay, man represents the sun, right? The woman represents the moon, and the children are the stars, represent the star. You see what I'm saying? So basically with that, yes, man, woman, and child is acknowledged as a so-called Trinity or Holy Trinity. Yes. But even in that, women were placed. They try to say that women were, side by side with their man, and it's in union, and it's in, and all this stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't that. At the end of the day, it just wasn't that. You see what I'm saying? When I started off then, and then, I got into the Black Power thing, I got into the Black Power thing, the Pan-African thing, I got into some other, some other spiritual practices. I'd rather not say, I've had a long journey. Okay. This road has been very rewarding and long for me. And I'm just thankful and grateful out of all these years, I've been doing this work, and I'll remain open to the Great Mother, right? To receive this intel, to receive these transmissions, to receive this wisdom in my nervous system, in my womb, in my energetic field, in my auric field, and to relay these messages to my sisters, to women, to mothers. So I'm grateful and thankful for that, right? So in my journey, I've always represented, right, caped for the original indigenous woman of Earth. Again, the Black woman, and I still do and always will. However, this is not solely about the Black woman. This is about the Great Mother. This is about the whole planet in its entirety. This is about Earth and Earth's and the several dimensions. That's what this is about. And when you start talking Great Mother and Dragon Mother business, race, culture, skin color has no motherfucking place at all in this shit. None. Because you have Caucasian women out here right now, who are doing the work, and they're receiving more light and intel than a lot of these sisters are out here. And it's sad. Asian women as well, receiving this intel from the Great Mother, these light codes. Okay? So this is a survival thing. It has nothing to do with that. Now, moving forward, because I said we were going to talk about the archetypes, the 12 archetypes of women. Why is this important? This is important because we are closing a cycle here. We are closing one cycle on this earth, right? And we're entering into a new cycle. It's already started, but the energy here is still dense because it's moving very slowly right now because there's a lot of distortion that's taking place, right? There's a lot of confusion that's going on, and the imbalance on the planet is very heavy because you have the generator of life, right? Now I must make the distinction here, okay? You have the generator of life, which is, I have to make when I say generator of life, I do have to make the distinction of the original woman, the original womb, which is that of us, the indigenous Black woman or so-called Black woman, right? Because we are the blueprint. We are the blueprint, the template, the so-called Black woman's womb. Understand that. And you know, from that perspective, when we're speaking about the original blueprint and the original template, right? We are moving slowly in our ascension and progress here in our development, moving forward, because there's a lot of confusion going on, and there's still a lot of women out here who do not understand who they are. We don't understand. And I'm not speaking down on my sisters at all because I'm still growing. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. So moving forward, we need to be clear, right? What the issues are here. Because everyone has different philosophies, right? And suggestions and everything about how humanity is going to move forward, right? And we know that the relationships between humans, man, woman, and child, is a reflection of what is in nature. And nature, and what's happening in nature is a reflection of what is happening in our homes. It's all one. And it's all a reflection of each other. And when you look at society, or when we look at society and what's taking place, it's no secret that, and those of you who are not familiar with me, let me just make this disclaimer. And I've already made my disclaimers in other videos, but I'll just say this real briefly here. I'm Goddess V. Okay? Mother. I am a mother. I've been a wife. I've been a wife. A legal wife. I'm still a mother. I'm separated. My husband and I are not together. And I'm not telling my business. I'm a private person, but I need for you all to understand something here. Because as I walk through this journey and we speak about this transmission, and I give my transmission, right, to my people, because of the damage that has been done, certain people, especially men, when women start talking like this or using certain code words that trigger men, right? The first thing they try to say is, oh, she's bitter. Oh, she's bitter. Oh, she's a feminist. Oh, she hate men. Oh, she's this and oh, she's that. Okay. Oh, she got daddy issues, this, that, and the third, and all this and that, right? Okay, so I am a mother. Been there, still doing that. I've been married. I've been a wife. Been there, done that. I've been someone's girlfriend. Been there, done that. I have been the mother of a man or of men who I am not married to. Been there, done that. I am a woman who grew up in a home with her mother and father present. Mother and father. Both of my parents weren't in my life. My father was in my life. My whole life. Before I was born, and he's still around. And him and my parents are still married. So this is no bitter woman speaking here, honey. Okay? So I just want to make that clear for all the, dysfunctional, immature masculines and the pick-me's, right? Who will come up here, may not like what I'm saying, may get offended about some of the things that I will be saying here. And I'm going to present this in the most respectful way possible, because it's not about that. This is not no man versus woman type shit. Okay? This is to save your asses, literally. A lot of people say they have the answers, right? How are we going to get out of this? Oh, what are we going to do with all that? Fuck that. If no one is talking what I'm getting ready to reveal here in these archetypes and moving forward, they honestly, they're not really talking about shit right now, because no one is saying right now doesn't even mean shit until you can fix and repair the fucking foundation. Understand that. Understand that, black woman. If you don't know who you are, you're nothing to yourself, really, for real. Therefore, nothing to your children or your man or any man out here. If you're trying to be something for a man, you shouldn't be trying to be nothing for a man. Because as women, we don't have to be nothing for no motherfucking body, but in communion with the great mother and the planet Earth, period. And as for you, black man, so-called black men, again, women are not here to serve you, listen to you, or be led by you. And y'all are walking around here out of order. And this is going to get this information is going to let you know too, black man, what your function is. Not what society said, not what your massa daddy, not what your massa taught you, not what your hurt ass fucking toxic ass daddy or granddaddy taught you, or the niggas in the gym, or you know what I'm saying, or whatever, or you know what I'm saying, or your mans and shit that you be chilling with, y'all be talking about women, y'all do this and that and all that. No, none of that shit. No, we talking about what the earth says about you, what the universe says about you, what the great mother says about you. Before humans even walk this fucking earth. That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about you, not your fucking roles. We're talking about your function. And that never changes. That never changes. Your masculine function never changes. Just like a woman's function never changes. But how we project and reflect those functions vary. And this is what we will be discussing in the 12 archetypes of the divine, of the woman in general, of the women. There are 12 archetypes of women. This is not vain. This has nothing to do with pop culture. This has nothing to do with some opinions that someone made up and want to get all cute and fancy and shit, try to break something down and all this and that. Oh yeah, you got the ride or die chick. Oh, you got the working woman, the career woman, and then you got this. Listen, we're going to stop playing games because we're not talking about none of that shit. Now, what I will be doing is breaking down all of these things, right? And I'm going to put them in their proper places for us, right? Ride or die and all that. Listen, we breaking all of that shit down because we need to know what the fuck is going on here. And that's what I do. I am a bridge. I'm going to give you the great mothers. I'm going to take the transmissions that the great mother gave to me and is giving to me, right? And I'm going to translate it so we could get our fucking shit together. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. So, in breaking down these archetypes, what this is going to do, because I'm all about purpose, functioning, and solution. This is where we are now. The great mother's not playing with nobody right now. Okay, the great mother saying, put your little Bible to the side right now. Put your little Quran to the side right now. Put your little Torah to the side right now. Put your little goddamn voodoo or whatever the fuck to the side right now. Put all that shit to the side. Because that don't have shit to do with your soul and the functioning of your DNA at all. We don't give a fuck what your government's talking about or none of that. What your doctor talking about, none of that shit. Your reverend, we don't care. We not talking about none of that shit here. Because with this transmission and with this intel, all of that shit becomes obsolete and fucking irrelevant. Period. There's no use for it. After these archetypes and this information is going to be revealed, right? It's going to change your fucking life. Because not only will it repair the relationships between men and women, right? This is really the true key to harmony and balance on this planet. Yeah, I know that's a big statement. I know. And I can back it up. And I will back it up. These 12 archetypes are a reflection. And we're speaking about women. This is about the women. These archetypes. We're gonna fuse in how this the impact and once we go through the archetypes, and as we go through the archetypes, we definitely will be fusing it in on we will be fusing it in as to how this coincides with or comes in harmony, not only with our children, with us being mothers, but also in our family settings. And if we choose to have a spouse or not, or a relationship or a partner or not, in our relationships too. Because one of the things that I will be revealing here is that, and I'm going to take my time and do this because it really needs to be handled with care. I'm not going to get off course. I was going to say something, but I'm not going to get off course. I'm gonna move forward. What I was getting ready to say, I'm going to speak on anyway as we move forward. Okay. So these 12 archetypes are very important because when it comes to relationships, you see what I'm saying? Because this is the thing in society that we're seeing now. That it's supposed to be what, some man, woman, man against woman, woman against man, war of the sexes right now. Like I said in part 1, you have women, sisters who are leaving their marriages, leaving their relationships because, they're tired of being in their relationships and they're tired of like cleaning up after men and, men thinking that a woman is supposed to submit to them and this, that, and the third, and just tired. We're just goddamn tired. You see what I'm saying? But to be fair, you have men out here too who, you men, you never understood the divine feminine. You never understood these 12 archetypes that I'm getting ready to break down because, for thousands of years, right? Only 3 of these archetypes were introduced to you, brothers, to my men. Only 3 were introduced to you, and it was done like that systematically on purpose in order to cause chaos and confusion. This is what the patriarchy has brought. Taking the 12 archetypes of the woman and giving humanity 3. And giving you men 3 and told you this is what a woman is. This is tragic. The key to a successful relationship, to a meaningful relationship, has never been if you are fucking married. And that's one of the main things that this is going to clear up, because I am so sick of the uninitiated talking this marriage shit, looking at women and judging women's worth based on whether they're married or not, based on whether they're a wife or not, giving precedence of a fucking piece of fucking paper that man gave your motherfucking ass and said, hey, here you go, nigga boy. Yeah, go ahead, take this paper. Go find yourself a woman, right? And she will make an honest woman out of her. Isn't that what they said? Isn't that what they tell they you know what I'm saying? They told a black man to go, with the marriage license and everything and the contracts and the paperwork, take that and go, you know what I'm saying? Go find himself. Yeah, go get you a woman. Yeah, they said, yeah, if you find a woman is a good thing. Yeah, they said that shit. Yeah, they said that too. They threw that shit up in there too. You know what I'm saying? They had to. You see what I'm saying? They had to. Because if you want it and you need, you know what I'm saying, you want and need it that bad, obviously that's what the fuck it is, right? You see what I'm saying? But yeah, they say, hey, go get your woman, make an honest woman out of her by marrying her, right? And so now for decades and decades and decades, right? Even to present day, even that's dying down now, but I'm just saying, even to present day now, you got people out here thinking, and you got men out here saying, oh, well, she's not married. Oh, well, you're going to get married. Well, you're not a married woman, then you're not an honest woman out of yourself. Oh, you ain't this and that. Just because your fucking cracker daddy and shit ain't sign off on your fucking relationship, or didn't sign off on your shit, didn't give you his fucking paperwork. Like, what type of bitch ass shit is that? You got grown ass black men out here, grown ass men out here, period. Up here labeling or attacking a woman's worth based on what they crack a massive fucking daddy is telling them they need in order for a woman to be of use. Or for a woman, you see what I'm saying? Or for a woman to have importance and function and duty outside. A woman is outside of that paper, she's nothing but just a single woman, just an unkept woman, just a, you know what I'm saying? Just a bitter woman, a feminist, a lesbian, or whatever. Well, that's about to change. All of these curses and dysfunctions. It's time to get rid of these things because they have been poisoning society for too fucking long. For too long. And the thing about it is that it was always a lie. It was always a program. It was always that. There's nothing that man has ever done. There is nothing that man has ever done that trumps the wisdom of the great mother and the function and the design of the prime source creator. Nothing. Not your paperwork, not your fucking government laws, not your little fucking constitution. Okay? Not them fake ass wedding marriage vows that man gave. And y'all want to be convinced that that shit means something because you know what I'm saying? You standing in front of some fake ass fucking reverend and shit who's not even ordained by the great mother to tell you now y'all a union? The same fucking reverends who's going out here molesting children and doing all types of shit. These the motherfuckers who's telling y'all that you in a holy union, that you a wife now, that you a husband now. And don't even know why the fuck you are a husband or a wife. Yeah, woman, they told you your function was to serve your man. Was to be a good helpmate or helpmeet or whatever the fuck they've been saying. To serve and submit to your man and all this shit. That's the most evil agenda that these motherfuckers came up with. That shit is more evil than a woman getting an abortion. Yeah, I said what the fuck I said. And I don't even believe in abortion. Real shit. Because when you suppress the womb, when you suppress the divine feminine, when you suppress the womb, you suppress life. Because we are life and life comes from us. Understand that. So we nip in the bud into all of that. All of that. So let's move forward. Let's get into these archetypes. Okay, so why 12? We can start here. Exactly why are there 12 archetypes, right? Why did the Great Mother says or designed 12 archetypes within her nature, right? Because 12 is a complete cycle number. It's not random. It's not a personal preference or, has any, it's not, a number. I don't want people to think it's like a number somebody just picked up, like, oh, this is my personal list and this is what I found. No, that's not the case. 12 is a cosmic architecture number. It's a cosmic architecture number. And across cultures and different cosmologies and systems that were not in contact with one another, 12 always shows up when something is navigable, navigable and embodied. Because this is why we have 12 months, we have 12 lunar cycles, we have 12 zodiac signs, or should I say zodiac gates, we have 12 cranial nerves, 12 DNA activation strands in esoteric biology, 12 tribes. What else? Oh, we also have 12 councils. You guys hear me speak about the mother council. We have 12 councils. And we have 12 archetypal journeys. Why? Why is this the case? Because 12 represents a full map of experience in material reality. Now, in the Great Mother cosmology, 12 is the number of embodied mastery, okay? It's the point where energy has moved through enough variations that it can now be recognized, integrated, and transmitted, okay? So these 12 feminine archetypes are not roles, okay? When I say they're not roles, meaning that this is not a cooking woman. Like, I'm not saying you have the cooking. I'm not saying, oh, you got the cooking woman, and then, you got the fighter woman, and, or whatever the case may be, And in this particular instance, the 3 archetypes that perpetuates, that has been allowed to be acknowledged here, right? Based on programming and based on this patriarchy, right? These three, and we're going to get deeper into it, but these 3 would be, something sexual. Yeah, a woman is for sex, right? She's just for a man's sexual pleasure. You see what I'm saying? Sexual pleasure. And also that sex is also necessary for procreation, right? So yeah, a woman is here for a man's sexual needs. This is what they say. This is what the function has become. And they've distorted that as well. That has been distorted as well. Our sexual function most certainly has been distorted. Okay? To where now it's just something for the outer loins of men in society to lust over and be. Now there's a natural attraction that, an internal attraction that men automatically, or should I say by nature, naturally have an attraction to women, if that's what you're attracted to. You know what I mean? But I'm saying the way it has been bastardized and became a lustful type of a thing. You see what I'm saying? And it was done like that on purpose, by the patriarchy. Okay. But nevertheless, the 3 archetypes that's celebrated are the sexual one. Lust is first for them, right? And this is not a part of the archetypes. I want to be clear. I'm just letting you know what permeates in this current reality that we're leaving out of. Okay? And like I said, it's sexual conquest, sexual lust, that type of thing. And of course, baby, you know what I'm saying? Children and procreation, you can throw that in there. You know what I'm saying? But it seems like lust is first. You see what I'm saying? Lust is sexual pleasure is first, and then, procreation, right? And then you have the mother figure. You see what I'm saying? Of course, you have the mother figure because the mother is the one who raises the children. The mother is the one who raises the son until he is out of her care. And then he moves forward and finds a woman of his own and become a union with her, right? So that's the mother role. Understand that. Men, I want you to understand that your journey, your whole life journey, is contingent upon the mother, or should I say the maiden factor here. Because you leave one mother and you spend the rest of your life looking for another mother. Plain and simple. This is just a down. We're going to get deeper into it, but this is just what it is. So you have the sexual archetype that you guys were allowed to celebrate and get familiar with. You have the mother archetype that you were allowed, you see what I'm saying, to get familiar with, to see, and, whatever the case may be, right? And then you have the other archetype, this is the submissive archetype. You see what I'm saying? Because we can't add that to the mother archetype. You see what I'm saying? We can't even add that to the lust And these are not archetypes. These are roles basically that come from archetypes that we're going to get into, right? I'm just trying to set the stage here, to paint a picture of where we're going with this, right? Because the submission thing that came in later. You see what I'm saying? You guys talk, men saying that it's part of their nature to lead a woman is a lie. Nature never said at any point in the history, okay, of this earth. It's not in Great Mother, Prime Source, Creator, Cosmology, anywhere, in any dimension, that a man was ever supposed to lead a woman, or that a woman was ever supposed to submit to a man. And it doesn't matter how you try to sweeten up the word submits, because a lot of you out here, male and female, trying to lighten the load on the word submit. Oh, well, it could just mean this and that. Just submit to each other. Listen, you ain't supposed to be submitting to shit but the Great Mother. Because when you in line with nature, you're in alignment with yourself. And when you are in alignment with yourself, then you are in alignment with each other. This is what this is all about. Alignment and being in one with your function, with your natural function. So this whole submit thing and, a woman is supposed to submit to a man and all of this shit came about during the patriarchy. Brothers and sisters, we need to be clear about this. I mean, I know I get a little in it, I get a little, a little zesty with it, whatever, or maybe that's the wrong word, but I get a little, hyped up with it, whatever. But I'm passionate about this work because this is not about man versus woman. This is not about, who's better or who's more worthy or who's the best, who's right or wrong. It's not about that. We're way past that. We're talking functioning here. We don't have time for the bullshit. We need to get down to business and talk function, because we were not taught this. Your schools didn't teach you this. Your pastor didn't teach you this. Your imam didn't teach you this, because it wasn't meant for you to know this. You cannot enslave a people and keep a people down if they know exactly who they are and what their functions are. You black man, black woman, man and woman cannot be in harmony with one another and operating within your true function and still be slaves to the patriarchy. It doesn't work that way, because the patriarchy is contingent upon men making the rules and the men being in charge and the women being in submissive roles. That's what the patriarchy is about. And they'll tell you that they put the woman equal to some will say that. Some bold enough to let you know, hey, women at the bottom, but women beneath us. You see what I'm saying? Some of them will let you know straight off top. Nah, my woman barefoot in the kitchen. My woman is barefoot and pregnant in the goddamn kitchen. That's where she belongs. You see what I'm saying? I'm the man. I make the fucking rules around here. You know what I'm saying? I'm the father. I bring home the bacon, the bread, and all this shit like that. You see what I'm saying? Or whatever. They beat their women. You see what I'm saying? They beat the children. The woman ended up being miserable as hell. Shit like that. She's a slave. You know what I'm saying? She around this bitch thinking she got one or two of the damn archetypes. Because no one ever taught her that there's 12. And that it was her responsibility to go within herself to see which of these archetypes is resonating within her, that she resonates with, that is permeating within her, within us. We were not taught that on purpose. So again, the whole submission thing, that came later. After the disloyalty, after the fall of the matriarchy, right at the onset of the fall of the matrilineal civilizations and societies, where these things were ran by women, by villages and tribes of women, not men, women. We're talking pre-civilization here. We are talking the bulk of Earth history here, or human history here, human history on Earth. We're talking millions of years here of women ruling and running this third dimensional realm. Even before the humans, we were here setting up shop, creating ecosystems, utilizing the elementals to create what we see here today. Mountains, trees, bodies of water. Oh, we're going to get into it. We most certainly are going to get into this. So I just wanted to lay that down. Because like I said, I wanted you guys to know about where the 12 come from. This is just not a list that someone just made up and be like, oh, well, yeah, let's put this down like this. You know what I'm saying? We are talking, sacred geometry here. We're talking sacred mathematics here. We're talking every sacred chemistry here. Okay, we're talking sacred cosmology here. This is what we are talking here. We're talking sacred numerology. This is what we're speaking about. This has nothing to do with the opinions of fucking humans here. This is straight from the great mother, the wisdom of the great mother. This is important to know. Because we already done deal with people trying to come out here with their own spin on shit. And as you can see, it doesn't work. Because it wasn't ever meant to work. Okay? Now, within the great mother's cosmology, right? Like I was saying, this is a number. The number 12 is a number. It represents embodied mastery. It's the point where energy has moved through enough variations that it can now be recognized and integrated and then transmitted. Okay? And again, they're not roles. Okay? These are states of beings. These are feminine archetypes. These are distinct modes of intelligences through which women, or should I say which feminine consciousness moves in a human lifetime. I'll say that again. These are distinct modes or ways of being or expressions, right? Of intelligence, inner intelligence, right? Through which feminine consciousness, right? Which is feminine consciousness is the energy. And I'm watching the wording that I'm saying, so everyone who's not even privy to this information can get this. Okay? So if I'm kind of like, over the words a little bit, this, that, and the other, I'm not trying to sound professional. I'm not trying to say all the big words and try to sound, fuck all that. We beyond that. We past that. We need to get down to business. It's not about that. Who has the best information and who didn't. Listen, we need to get this. And we need to get it ASAP. Bottom line. So it's through these distinct modes of intelligences, right? They are distinct modes of intelligence, through which feminine consciousness moves throughout our lifetime, throughout the lifetime of women, Okay? And anything less than 12 is complete. Anything less than 12 is and would be incomplete. Anything more would be specialization and not foundation. Okay, that's why this is why the void mother and the void mother and the chrome currents, which we're gonna get into, right? These are actually the three this is the official names of the three that we were actually allowed to resonate with, okay, on this planet. Meaning that, how can I put this? Okay, so we're talking about the 12 archetypes here, right? Of course, the patriarchy, the men, the civilizations ran by men, of course, in order to have a male-dominated society, right? And in male-dominated civilizations, the mother has to be suppressed, okay? The woman has to be suppressed. The woman in all of her greatness and all of our greatness had to be suppressed. And in doing so, we were only allowed to function within 3 of those 12 archetypes, because those were the archetypes that suited what they had going on at the time and the direction that they wanted to take the planet into at the time, into the system of patriarchy. Okay. And that would be the unofficial, because I'm going to give you the official name of these 3 archetypes, according to the Great Mother, right? But in the expression, right, of the I'm getting getting the mind parts up in here. In the patriarchy, right? We will say that it is the devourer, how you devour something, when you devour something, right? The devourer, the void mother, and the crone currents. These are currents. And that's what the archetypes are. Currents. These are currents. Currents. And you need to know that these are currents, because this is how this all fits in between the woman and nature itself, between woman and nature, and woman and the elemental, and woman and life in the planet itself. How we are in communion and in communication with, and we resonate with the planet itself through currents. The earth has currents. And the woman has currents as well. The reflection of the earth, of nature, is the woman. And residing in that woman, the woman has 12 currents that she can ebb and flow and navigate through at any point in time in her life. Within those 12. But the part that, my brothers, men, the part that you need to know, and I'm going ahead of myself, I know, but I'm going to reroute it. The part that you need to understand, to all my men, is that you've been bamboozled. Right? By the people who look like you. By the entities who look like you. I mean, yeah, they wanted you to think that the enemy was someone who looked different from you. Right? We all believed that at once, but no. The enemy looked just like you. The first enemy looked just like you, brother. Black man, right? Just like you. You were made to believe that the woman only has these 3 archetypes here. And when women come up short, right? Or you feel like she comes up short, or whatever the case may be, or she's not operating in the trained and programmed archetypes that you were taught that she should be operating in, this is why we are called crazy. My brothers, this is why we are called dysfunctional. This is why we are called off balanced and crazy and emotional, and we don't know what the fuck we want. And I'm going to be honest with you, because due to this programming, it is very much understood how and why it became like this. So I want my brothers to know this. I want you men to know this. I want my men to know this. That moving through this, I want you to be clear that this is about restoration. We're going to expose the lies. We're going to expose the scam. We're going to expose the programming. And then we're going to speak the truth and give the truth. And then we're going to resonate in that truth. And we're going to build from that truth because it's time. You think women are crazy and off balance and off her rocker and you don't understand women? Because you were trained to only tap into or communicate with three out of 12 of her archetypes. And when she started ebbing and flowing into other archetypes that you were not familiar with, to you, it looks like she's crazy or off balance and you don't understand her. And rightfully so. Because what? We get angry with things we don't understand. We get upset with things we don't understand. We get frustrated with things that we don't understand. That's the nature of the beast. And what happened to us and what happened. This is what happens when you move away from or navigate away from the Most High, from the prime source creator, the mother, and you substitute the mother with religion that gives you male mothers, that gives you masculine mothers. When you remove the mother out of everything, of course you're going to have dysfunction. Of course you're going to have chaos and confusion. So these particular currents, as I just said, the devourer, the void mother, and the chrome currents, they sit outside. They sit outside of the 12 currents. They are a part of the 12 currents, right? Because they were originally taken from the 12 currents. We're going to get into this. We're going to get into it because I don't want to confuse you guys. They were taken from the 12 currents. These three were taken from out of the 12 currents, but they were bastardized. And once they were bastardized and flipped and scripted and flipped the fuck around, then that's when they became outside of the archetypes, outside of the current. Because it no longer served nature, so to speak. It was there to serve man. We got to be clear about this. You can't serve nature when you remove the mother. You can't be one with nature when you remove elements of the mother. You will get exactly what the hell that we've been getting for the past few centuries now. Like I said, chaos and confusion. Women who don't know who the fuck they are like that. You either got a woman, you got women who, like I said, because this is our planet. Earth belongs to the woman. And again, this has nothing to do with feminism or ego. This is nature. This is nature. And like I said, when you remove these things, that's how things become distorted. Okay? Okay, so moving on. So let's see here. I wrote down my notes here that I have of the archetypes because I was working on this. Let's see. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay. So, I have my notes here, guys. Okay, so now moving forward. Before I get into archetypes and what I'm going to do now, I want to speak to the brothers because I'm not going to get into the first archetype yet. I'm going to save that for the third video because I want to speak to my brothers. I'm speaking to the women too. I'm speaking to my sisters too. I'm not sure, eventually, hopefully this will get to enough brothers. Sisters, you can share this with your boyfriends, your husbands, your sons, your uncles, your cousin, your male cousins. Just share this information because it's very important. Very, very important. Okay. So I just wanted to speak to, before we get in the next video, I just want to speak to the brothers for a second because this really needs to be clear. All right. Because in order for us to get things back on track, when people ask the question, then where is civilization going? Where are we going? Well, how is society going to end up? What are we going to do as a people? Oh, we need to repair relationships between men and women. Oh, the children out here, they're going crazy. All this chaos is going on over the world. People, you know what I'm saying? Governments is going crazy. Rumors of war. All this shit is going on around the planet. And people are just seeking refuge. People are seeking answers. This, that, and the other. And the answer was always within. You see what I'm saying? It was never in a book. You know what I'm saying? It was never in no goddamn government papers and shit. Constitutions and all that other shit. It was never in that. It was in the Great Mother. That's what it was in. In your woman. Inside the very makeup of your woman. Of the divine feminine. Okay? Men, you need to understand what masculine energy actually is. What it is, what it's not, and why confusion about it exists. Okay? You have to restore, your understanding of what masculinity is and its function. Okay? What we're doing here is, or what you need to be doing, is restoring functioning, not dominance. Black man, to my brothers, hear me. This is about you restoring function. Function, not dominance. Raw and uncut. Masculine energy is directional, protective, stabilizing, and responsive. It is not inherently leadership over. It is not ownership. It is not control of feminine intelligence. Men are designed to respond to the field of a woman, of the divine feminine, not replace it. I'll say that again. Men are designed to respond to the field of the feminine energy, not replace it. And you need to understand that the feminine energy, when we speak about the feminine, right, being the dominant source here on this earth, we are talking about function. We are talking about an intelligence, and a field, an intelligence, that which generated life. The actual blueprint that generated an energy source that generates life. Life didn't just happen. There's an energetic blueprint here. An unseen, energetic, coded blueprint. And when men And because men don't know this, and when men do not know this or learn this, they default. You default, brothers, to submission seeking, dominance performances, emotional avoidance. Emotional avoidance, and entitlement to women's labor and bodies. I'll repeat that again. When you do not know the wisdom of the Great Mother and how this planet operates, and the nature of this planet, and the beings on it, and the energy source on the planet, brothers, when you don't know this, and when you're not in alignment with this, right? You default automatically default to submission seeking, dominance performance, emotional avoidance, and entitlement to women's labor and bodies. We see this in society. Brothers, this is not an attack. And I need for you to hear me out. This is not an attack. If you are serious about really getting down to business, and this is for my brothers and sisters, men and women. If you're really serious, all the guys, the things you do, people go out, what humans do, go out and bust your ass. You work, you go bust your ass, work, save up money, get this job. You want your degrees, you want your career, nice cars, you want to travel, you want to do this, that, deal with politics and all this, complain, you want to get your picket signs, you want to go marching when shit go wrong, and stuff like that. You want to vote and all these things that people do for what? To get results from something that you don't even understand. Because the things that you are seeking to get results about or for, the answer is not in where we've been looking. It's in nature. If you are moving and operating from a source that you were not meant to, of course you're going to be out of order. Man and woman, both are out of order. I'm speaking to the men right now, but both are out of order. Men and women today are out of order. So there is no, one bet. It's not about one being better than the other. This is about function and purpose. Because we are the society right now, look around you, displays that. The first one, submission seeking. We see this in society with you brothers. This is what you do. You go around seeking women to submit to you. Not all. Now, I'm talking to brothers, if you are of the initiated, because our initiated brothers already doing the work. They already started doing the work. Okay? I'm talking to the uninitiated brothers who are new to this, and you struggle the most. You struggle the most with getting a woman, or you know what I'm saying? You struggle the most with your everyday lives and functioning and your mental health and your spiritual health, your purpose. I'm talking to you who walking around here like fucking drones, not knowing who the fuck you are. Submission seeking. You result to submission seeking, looking for women to submit to you because your master taught you that. Your master taught you that, right? Your Bible taught you that, right? Your Quran taught you that, right, brothers? That a woman is supposed to submit. Well, guess what? They lied. You were duped and bamboozled. The Bible is a lie. Not the whole Bible. Not the whole Bible. But the majority of it is a lie. Plain and simple. Any book that tells you, that leaves out the mother and want you to think that the God is the son and all this other shit like that. Any book that leaves out the mother, there is no truth into that shit. Because there is no life without the mother. And they taught you that. The enemy taught you that. That a woman is supposed to submit to you for your needs. It never was true and it never will be. Not in that order. Where we don't submit to you, brothers. We submit to nature, and so do you. You don't need to be caring what the fuck man say. You need to understand what your very makeup say. What the true prime creator says. Dominance performance, brothers. Dominance performances. Isn't that what we see into society? With you? Dominance performances? Sports. Even though we have women in sports too, we have women in sports too. We have women in politics too. Yes, we do. But with men, your dominance factor has been bastardized and fractured as well. Before the fall, the divine masculine, your dominant, as far as your dominance goes, there was no fucking dominance within the masculine, the masculine societies outside of the matriarch. There was no such thing until war was introduced. Because anything else you did was in harmony with the great mother. Therefore, in harmony with the women. Because you, just like the women, were in harmony with the great mother. Therefore, we did what nature instructed us to do. And operated through the functionings of nature. Not something that man said or put in a book or taught you. So when you have a planet now where, men dealing in your egos, men being competitive, things of that nature and stuff like that. This comes from thousands of years of having to fight for an identity that was put on you. On identities that was put on you given false identities. Oh, I'm the brute. Oh, I'm the, I'm this type of nigga. Oh, yeah, I'm a boxer nigga. Oh, yeah, I'm a politician nigga. Oh, yeah, I'm a pimp ass nigga. Oh, yeah, I'm a getting money ass nigga. Oh, yeah, I'm a pretty boy. Oh, I'm this and I'm that. And all these different labels and shit, right? Thinking that you impressing women, but you're not. You're not. And meanwhile, women are sorting through all these different fake dominance roles that you adhere to, looking for containment in those roles. Oh, we're going to talk about containment because, brothers, you have a divine purpose. You do. And it is to be respected. It's to be respected. Not only by you, by the divine feminine too, because it works together. The divine feminine and the divine masculine works together. We need to be clear on this. Okay? Emotional avoidance. Emotional avoidance is another one, brothers. What y'all say to each other? Well, before I'll say it like this though, because we have women who look at overly emotional men, right? And we'll call you pussy. We'll call you a bitch ass nigga. You see what I'm saying? I've been quick to call a nigga a bitch ass nigga, being overly emotional, calling him a homo and all that. You see what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, like, nothing is more of a turn off than a arguing ass man. You know what I'm saying? A man going by, you know what I'm saying? An arguing ass man who don't know how to regulate, you know what I'm saying? Who don't know how to regulate his emotions because you were never taught that. Once you separated from the wisdom of the great mother, you see what I'm saying? Once you disconnected from that, you no longer can regulate your emotions. Now your emotion has turned into something else. Because you are now unbalanced. When you are not operating in your natural self, right? You are out of order. When you are not being your natural self, when it comes to your woman or the great mother or the divine feminine, because that's what you're here for, black man. You are here to expand the blueprint of the divine feminine and of the mother's code. You are here to expand that and to contain the wisdom of the great mother. Yes, women are emotional beings, especially if she has no purpose and she doesn't know who she is. But we're learning and we're gonna get through this together. When it comes to the men being emotional, there's different factors of why some men are more emotional than others. There's a distinct reason how this happened, right? We're talking about thousands of years. Okay. This is a long, you're talking about, this is a long journey, a long time, right? Of planetary history, right? And programming to get to this point, brothers and sisters. To get to this point of continuously doing the same thing over and over again until you get what we see today. Men are not supposed to be out here exhibiting what we see today as men arguing with women, you know, men online being sassy as shit, popping their neck, you know what I'm saying, going back and forth, gossiping and all that shit like that. You're not supposed to be doing that. If you're going to speak to your fellow men, to your fellow brothers, to your sons, to your fathers, then you are to speak about expansion. You are to speak about growth, about building, about moving forward. You are to speak about that, not condemnation. Not a bunch of selfish shit that's not going to get you anywhere. Dealing with everything material, even though that's a big part of what your nature is, dealing with the material. However, you're not serving the throne. You're serving yourselves. It's not your fault, though. We're going to get it together. But you're not serving the throne. Because your throne is a matriarchal throne, not a patriarchal throne. You're serving the wrong empire. Because only in the matriarchy where the man, right, his dominance is king. His dominance is key. His dominance rules in the matriarchy, not the patriarchy. Unbeknownst to what people may think or what it may looks like. Because you see men running around this bitch being presidents and prime ministers and, you know what I mean, kings and shit like that, making decisions, moving and shaking, making laws and all this shit. It looks like men around, doing a big one, right? Because they're in charge and, they can make all kind of weapons and all kind of wars and all this and that, right? Meanwhile, look at the state of the planet. Meanwhile, with no motherfucking wisdom of what you're doing. No regard for the planet. No regard for the elementals in nature and the things and all the things that maintain what you're building. And this is what you see taking place now. You were never supposed to build on the land without checking in with the great mother first, with the mother council first. So she could give you the okay for you and let you know when it was ripe to plant. When it was ripe for you to go out and till the earth or till the ground. It was the great mother who will let you know these things. What cycles that we were in. And what information she was receiving through her womb to give to you. So we can know what direction to take the civilization or to take society. Because that's what the woman is. She is the door. She is the portal. And the blueprint to everything that you put out as a man or build and construct as a man. You know how people have you have your when you have architects, they have their blueprints, right? I think that's what it's called. When you have like an architect, they do the architects have a blueprint and they make the blueprint of a house and they sketch that out, right? You have to sketch out the blueprint, right, before you build a house. Yeah. Well, your black woman, the original woman of Earth, her womb, her embodiment is that blueprint. And it has all of the instructions and the connections that you need, right, to move forward within humanity on this earth. Everything you do, everything you build, everywhere you go, how you eat, sleep, shit, all of that. Procreation, all of that comes from her. Why? Because that's what nature says. That's not what she says. That's not what he says. That's what the great mother says. And you are a part of that. Emotional avoidance is scary to a lot of men. Emotional men are emotionally avoidant because, society over time taught men that, hey, you can't be emotional. You have to be tough. You have to be hard, this, that, and the other. Well, you stop remembering what your regulation source is when it comes to that, because you're not operating in purpose and function. You become overly emotional because you're in a realm and you're existing and operating from a space that you should not be operating from. Your goals have become something that it never should have become. What your goals are, the things that you go after that you claim that you want have been given to you to want. Yeah, a whole grand design set up for you all. And you fell for it. And so did we. So did the women. So there's other factors that go along with that when we talk about the emotional avoidance, because it's kind of like is it really a paradox, if you will? Because a man who, who's unable to regulate his emotions, right? He is considered, he is considered, unattractive. He's considered a bitch ass nigga, stuff like that. Or, a sucker, pussy, that type of thing, right? Childish, feminine, all these names, right? Who can't deal with his emotions, right? Who avoids, who doesn't know how to regulate his emotions, cursing out women, having arguments with women and shit like that. They, like I said, they be online and shit, popping their neck, passport bros and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers who be online talking about, they want a high value woman and all this shit or whatever. You see what I'm saying? And all this weird ass shit going on or whatever. Like, come on. Come on. But then you have the ones who, they won't open up. They got this hard mask. You brothers who have this hard mask where, you know what I'm saying? You have this hard exterior that you don't want to let, you don't want to let a woman in, or you don't want to let anyone in. You have this hard exterior because life has made you that way. Not only that, you probably it's probably a part of your soul script or your soul contract for you to be that way. So there's other factors here that play into this. Not everything is all programming. We do have soul contracts as well, things that we came here to rectify or live out or sort through, that has nothing to do with other people or society. These are things on a soul level that we came here to rectify or live out or balance out. Okay. Entitlement to women's labor and bodies, that part. This is self-explanatory, brothers, because we know that men can, certain men, and I'm talking about the uninitiated. So the brothers, you brothers are sitting here, like, oh, that ain't me because I don't feel that way. Listen, the things that I'm going to be saying here, some of these things may apply to certain men. Some of these things may not apply to certain men, right? What I don't want to do too much is say, this is for the initiated men, and this is for the uninitiated men. I don't want to just make it two boxes here, because you initiated men still have some things that you need to learn. You still have some things that you need to learn as well and balance out. How do you know? Because you're still here. You're still in a body. So as long as we are in bodies, we still have things to learn and move forward. So I don't want my initiated men to be like, oh, just kick your feet back like you know everything and you good. No. Now you may know certain things being said, but you don't know everything. I'm talking about my initiated brothers. Now you uninitiated brothers, right? You guys, y'all have an issue, somebody may say something. You may acknowledge that you never heard this before, or yeah, okay, well, I never thought about that before. But then something else, you might be like, oh yeah, I'm already doing that. Oh yeah, I don't do that. I ain't like that. That ain't me. That ain't me. Listen, you can't be so quick to be like, oh, that ain't me. I don't do that. Oh yeah, I do that. Da, 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 da. Don't be so quick to say what you do and what you don't do, because you need to remember who you are reflects through your woman, through the woman, not just your woman, through women in general. You get to see who you really are through the mother. And when I say the mother, I'm not meaning just your mother, the feminine, the woman, the women. You could be whatever man you think that you are and do whatever it is that you were taught or shown that men do. But who's going to let you know if it works or not, or if it's in harmony or not? How are you going to know that? Some of you say, well, if I build a house, if I build it, once I build a house and it's stable and all that, then yeah, if I see it stable and stuff like that, I don't need nobody to tell me. I don't need a woman to tell me if it's stable, if the house is stable. Oh yeah? Well, you need her to explain that goddamn land to you in the area in which you built the house at. Because that would be the more intelligent thing for you to do. So you can have longevity in the space that you are building in. You would want to know if you are building in the right location that is going to be, right, conducive to where it is your family is supposed to be going, or what it is that you are supposed to be doing while you are here on this planet. So we can't be too quick to say, oh yeah, I know that one ain't me. I ain't already doing that. Da, 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 da. Don't be so quick to say that. Okay. So we spoke about the submission seeking, right? The dominance, performance, emotional avoidance, entitlement to women's labor and bodies. Oh, and one more thing. When it comes to the entitlement to women's labor and bodies, of course, like I said, a lot of men do think that they have entitlement. Like even when it comes to marriage. Okay, because we're not even gonna let's not even give the examples when we're talking about just relationships between men and women who and I want to say, well, me personally, yes, I was legally married before, but that was that was before that was before I was able to how can I put this? My awakening to higher levels or whatever in my advancement, in my ascension. You see what I'm saying? Where you had to get to where I had to get to a certain point to see that it's not about the paperwork and contracts and things of that nature that determines that. The mother, she does not care about paperwork. You see what I'm saying? At all. Okay, unbeknownst to many, the mother does not care about that. She has no, you know what I'm saying, no dealings with that, like that. She doesn't even really acknowledge those. The great mother acknowledged soul contracts, not contracts that men came up with. Okay. And when you talk about entitlement to women's labor and bodies, you do have men who feel that way, especially married men. You feel like once you marry the woman that you're going to be with, that you are entitled. That once she becomes your wife, she's entitled to give you sex, to take care of you, to cook for you, and to do certain things for you. And she is not entitled to do any of that for you. I'm sorry to break the news to you, but you're not entitled to that. A woman's body is just what it is, her body, which is a reflection of nature. A woman's labor, whatever it is that she does in her greatness as a woman, is for the betterment of the human family and the planet, and harmony within the planet, not just for one man. Another reason why contractual marriage is nonsense. A woman never belongs just to you, brothers. No one person belongs to anybody. And sisters, these brothers just don't belong to you. Because you have brothers out here who may need to go off and build elsewhere, outside of you. Remember, we are here to be in harmony. Mind you, I didn't say serve. To be in harmony with the great mother, not man. This is why when it comes to contractual marriage, that we were never supposed to take that on. We were never supposed to invite that into, you see what I'm saying? Our practices, our cultural practices, or our practices that we do together amongst each other. We didn't have that in the matriarchy. We didn't have no fucking marriages. One person owning this person and all this and that. Oh, you submit to me and all this shit. There was a matriarch. There were villages, tribal villages, and matriarchs of women who raised children and took care of children while men went out and built and expanded for the tribe, for the group. And only the men who were able to perform and hold and be proper containment for the women and children, only that man was able to get the provisions allowed to him by the women. Point blank, period. So if you didn't go get the food, if you didn't go pick the food, if you didn't go kill the animal or whatever that was needed to be done, you didn't eat. You didn't come back to bring it to the matriarch, then you don't eat. You don't get fed, you don't get cared for, or you don't procreate, period. That's the way of the great mother. Which you motherfuckers have been taught, men and women, is not of the great mother. So I'm going to stop right here. And now that we've gotten it out the way, and let me say this before in closing, because when I come back with part 3, we're going to go ahead and start this up with we're going to get into 1 to 12. I'll probably do it in 4 archetypes, 3 more videos. So 4. Probably do it that way, so that'll be like 3 more different videos. So we'll get into part 3 on the next one. But before I close it out, let me say this. Brothers, you cannot understand us as women until you understand the source current that women come from. Okay? I'll say that again. You cannot or will never understand us as women or the divine feminine or the nature of a woman until you understand the source current that women come from and operate within. You need to know that current, that flow, that energy within her. You need to understand that. Not the programming. Not all the programming and all the societal shit where people tell you what a woman is and all this shit like that. Oh yeah, she a ride or die. Oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, she a dime piece. Oh, she a baddie. Oh, she this and that. Oh, she the motherly type. Oh, she this and this and that and all these fucking labels and shit. We have archetypes, yes. You are to understand these archetypes And you are to understand them. So whatever cycle that the woman is in her archetypes, you need to understand this so you can be in harmony with that and create from that and within that. Not to rebel against it. Not to get mad with it. Not to say, oh, I don't understand. Not to be like, oh, why she like this? And why this going on? And oh, I don't like it. The reason you don't like it and you think women are crazy and you think women are all over the place is because you don't know who you are. And you don't know who she is either. And guess what? She don't know who the fuck she is either in this day and time. We're learning. We are learning. Sisters are learning. A lot of women do know, but some still don't. And the women who are out here who thinking that, who still thinking that, they out here, they supposed to get married and submit to my man, because you got a lot of sisters. You have a lot of sisters now who still saying, oh yeah, hey, I'm supposed to, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what y'all talk about, cause I love submitting to my man. I'm supposed to submit to my man. And da, da, da. I don't knock those sisters. The ones who still out here, submitting to undeserving men. I don't knock you like that, because, there's an archetype for you. There's an archetype. There is a natural archetype that the Great Mother acknowledges here. This is of an archetype. The issue I have with it is that it's too many sisters out here or whatever coming, using their abilities and gifts, right? With the wrong person, with the wrong male, or with the wrong nigga. That's my issue with it. And you can tell. You can tell when y'all, and we, like I said, when it comes to the Great Mother, we don't do the submit thing. We don't use submit. We don't use that word, submission. We don't use that. We use harmony. The Great Mother's language is harmony, not submit. But those of you sisters out there, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case may be, those who are actually thriving from so-called, I'm going to use your word, from so-called submitting, those of you who are actually thriving. And when I say thriving, right, I'm talking about you're in harmony with your man, right? You're in harmony internally. You're at peace internally. You're not lacking for anything. And when I say lacking, I'm not just talking about a roof over your head and fucking money and all of that. I'm talking about within your nature, that you are free to be who you are, to move how you move freely within yourself without compromising anything in your womanhood, just so you can have a man. And only you would know that. You would know that on the deepest levels, whether you're compromising yourself by quote unquote submitting to this man. Because if you're not flourishing internally, then you don't need to be what you call submitting to no man, to no one. All you are is a servant. That's it. He's thriving, not you. You hurting on the inside, hurting and crying on the inside, miserable on the inside. If you're not genuine about it, if you're just doing it because you want to keep a man, or because you want to be laying next to some nigga and shit every night, or laying next to somebody every night because you don't want to be alone, because you got to have yourself a man. So you'll tolerate the slackness just so you can have somebody. You're doing yourself a disservice. And the Great Mother does not acknowledge that. The mother does not acknowledge that. Because you're out of order. You're out of order. You're out of nature. You're out of order. Plain and simple. So I'm going to end this right here, because I'm going to go on and on and on. Okay. So yeah, like I was saying, by closing, okay. Like I said, men, you have to understand, okay? You have to understand that you will never understand women until you understand the source current that women come from. This is very important. And this is very important, okay? You need to know that the feminine is not passive, okay? The feminine is not chaotic, brothers, okay? The feminine is not chaotic. The feminine is only chaotic when the feminine is not contained. And I will be elaborating further on that. The feminine is not emotional weakness by any stretch of the imagination. Not when you truly understand what it is or what's taking place. The feminine is organizing intelligence. Do not mistake what I am saying. The great mother's wisdom and the wisdom of the feminine, right? For every woman that's out here. Because that's the problem. When we give this knowledge of the mother, right? A lot of men get triggered. They think about their last girlfriend, that bitch that they was with before and shit, who drove his ass crazy and shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That chick that you was with who broke your heart or used you for your money and all this other shit like this, got on your fucking nerves or whatever the case may be. You see what I'm saying? Or you know, some of you may think about your mother and or whatever the case may be. You know, how your mother treated you or neglected you. Your mother wasn't shit to you, whatever the case may be. We all have traumas that we're dealing with. You see what I'm saying? And this is definitely a part of the process too, dealing with these triggers. Because a lot of times triggers will, you know what I'm saying, jump in the way and block us from moving forward with this knowledge, with this wisdom. As soon as we hear something, now what? What you mean? Like what? What, man? Fuck all that shit, man. What you mean that the feminine ain't passive? What you mean by that? What you mean the feminine is not emotional weakness? That's all I see these bitches out here being emotional. These bitches is weak as shit. They emotions. They can't control their emotions and shit. What you talking about? You know, shit like that. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? These are women who need healing. Okay? They need to know who they are. They need to know their archetypes and who they are. You're not the only one who needs to know this, who needs to know about these archetypes and about the nature of a woman. They do too. The women do too. They do too. Okay? And the woman who has a higher understanding of this, a woman who's actually living in her truth and living in her archetypal embodiment, that's where peace is. That's a woman who brings you peace. But you have to make sure, you have to be able, because not every man can deal with all embodiments of a woman, all 12 of those archetypes that may ebb and flow within a woman. You see what I'm saying? And I'm talking about a healed woman, because she will definitely experience these archetypes. A balanced woman, right? A priestess woman, a high priestess woman, and highly evolved woman will display these archetypes, will ebb and flow in and out of these archetypes in a balanced, healthy way. But an uninitiated woman who doesn't know who she is and is not aware of this information, then yes, it will be very much so chaotic for her, and it will be projected as chaos. It will be received by the men that she deal with as chaos. Because once you know who you are as women, right, and you're able to be in tune with your archetypes, and you know as a woman where you're resonating at that particular time in your life, you're able to recognize it through the different phases of your life, right? And you can pinpoint it based on what you're going through, how you're feeling, where you are, your mentality, right? You'll be able to pinpoint that, and you will be able to make better choices in the men that you are with or you choose to be with. Therefore, not choosing men that's not going to benefit you. or men that's not going to resonate with you, or men that you're not able to grow with because they're unable to meet you where you are or where you're going. These things need to be understood, because right now it's very rigid. Oh, you know what I'm saying? You have women, once a woman gets with a man, you see what I'm saying, or whatever, then yeah, those are her function. Her function is this and that. What you talk about, me? You know what I'm saying? What do you mean? All these different functions and meeting where she at and all this and that. When we come together, that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. What more it need to be, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Once we get together, just give me the pussy. You know what I'm saying? When I want that, let me get that when I want that. You know, I don't mind going to work and shit, you know what I'm saying? I don't mind going to work, but you know what I'm saying? I need to ask whenever I want that shit, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you cook a nigga some food, you know what I'm saying? Eat, especially if I'm paying all the bills and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Make sure a nigga eat, you know, shut the fuck up when I come home, when I'm in the house and shit, come home from work, you know, don't be all on my back and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just keep your mouth closed, your legs open, shit is all good. Well, I ain't gotta be don't gotta be no extra shit, learning on no extra shit, you know what I'm saying? You know, the fact that a woman has these 12 archetypes might give some of you brothers anxiety just even thinking about it and hearing that shit. It might give you anxieties. You know, you see what I'm saying? But it's not created. It's not meant to do that. It's meant to free you. It's meant to free you. It's meant to free you, because trust and believe that the sisters who are in alignment with their 12 archetypes and they're in tune with themselves, trust me, I guarantee you, it ain't nothing but peace there, sweetheart. It's nothing but peace there. You would be the one bringing in the chaos, because that means you're not developed enough to be with a woman like this. And then we have the initiated brothers who are in tune with the women. They know these things that I will be speaking on. They know these things. Our initiated brothers, they know these things. What I'm noticing is that these brothers, a lot of these initiated brothers who are aware of these things, a lot of these brothers, I'm noticing, and it's kind of weird, but a lot of these brothers are what society would call single. They just have like, they have a carefully selected women that they're with. Not all of them, but a few of them have careful selected women that they're with. They're selective, but I'm noticing a lot of you initiated brothers, have like, little, a few queens here and there, this, that, and the other, whatever. Okay. Not nothing doggish, but and the mother allows this because you're strong enough to contain these women. You see what I'm saying? You're strong enough to do so. You're strong enough to contain these women without causing chaos in their lives, without sparking jealousy in their lives. You see what I'm saying? Especially if you're talking about an initiated woman. You see what I'm saying? Because you might have issues with the uninitiated women who still don't get it. You see what I'm saying? They still don't get it. But if you have initiated women, you see what I'm saying? Or at least women who are on a certain path there, right? These women you'll be able to give assistance to. These women you will be able to even give lessons from the Great Mother to these women. You will be able to help these women share. I mean, you will be able to help these women, right? And to remember who they are and help them to remember the wisdom of the Great Mother. So I'm going to end this here. And I promise when we come back, we're going to go ahead and get into these archetypes 1 to 4 on part 3. Peace.